What up, YouTube? This is your boy Liger from Nintendo Duo, and this video, as it's entitled, is talking about why Nintendo did not drop the game, the price for the Wii U in the last holiday season. This is basically for the Nintendo fans and the haters out there who say, "Oh man, I'll buy it if they do this and did this and all that stuff." Please, whatever. This is where the business part of what I'm trying to tell you. If you're a business person, it makes sense. So let me elaborate on that for you. Since my company does international partnership with of course with games, with game designers and developers and stuff like that, Ubisoft, EA, Sunrise Production over in Japan and stuff like that. There's a big reason why Nintendo didn't do that, and I'm gonna break it down. It's gonna be a little boring, I'll state it out front, but hang in there with me. And if you want me to do a video about this, the real crux of it, you know, if it gets enough views and people elaborate enough to me to say okay, then I'll do it. Other than that, nah, I'll just try to keep it short. And here you go. The reason Nintendo did not drop the price down like the Xbox One, and these are stuff that you could check on. You could go to Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Business Weekly, stuff that you know about the business end of some of these things. And this is one of the reasons I'm gonna bring up the topic between difference between publishers and developers, third parties. But again, that's for another video. Here we go. The reason they did not drop the price, Nintendo's console right now is profitable. When they first brought out the Wii U, it was not profitable. It was not. You had to buy a software so Nintendo could make a game. This was the first console they ever produced that did not make a profit off the top. So they had to do something different to do that, and that's good. Xbox One is not real. The console not profitable from the beginning. Even when you drop the Kinect, it is not. Same thing with the PlayStation 4. What they do to subsidize most of that is with the services they provide. $60 for Xbox Live and all that stuff. Because remember, that's easy to do. You are not making a product. That's easy to do. And then of course Xbox, are using Microsoft is using servers that they use for other things to devote it down to Xbox division. That's what's going on. But again, the reason they didn't do that as a businessman is when you do business, you don't want to go on a 50-50 chance of what's happening. I'm gonna give you what's going on. Xbox dropped the price, they get a bump in sales. The difference between Xbox and Nintendo is Xbox does not have the first party exclusive to warrant that, but it's a decision they made to warrant why they did that. They want to get the name out there so people can invest in them to make the trend. Again, goes back into the whole thing of the console wars. You want to invest, you invest in Xbox One division and all that stuff. Yes, you want to make the sales to get more investors. That's true. So they were not making money before. They cut the prices to sell more. They took a bigger hit right there. And if the price goes back up, well, it goes back up. If not, that's a different story. A thing that a lot of people don't know is Xbox division does not make not even a pinch of difference to Microsoft when it comes to money wise. In the last 2 shareholder meetings, if you could go to Forbes and stuff to check it out and see what's going on with that, the board meetings they had. Again, I'm pointing out, shareholders don't give a crap about you gamers. I don't understand why you people don't get that. Most of them do not. They don't. They care about, here's something I can invest in. If I give you $15, I can get $20 by the end of the year. Hey, that's a $5 plus, I'll take it. That's all they care about. Xbox division makes 1 to 2%, maybe 5 from the last time. I don't know yet. I have the next developments, the next board meeting is coming up. Let's check it out. But makes 1 to 2% profit for Microsoft. That's it. And the shareholders don't care for them and want to cut the Xbox division off. They really do. They don't care for it. They want it cut off. Just like right now, they want to make more money. They want to cut the guy who made Microsoft, Bill Gates. They want to cut his share down. The guy who blood, sweat, and tears make Microsoft. They want to cut him out of the top holder of the shareholders. Shareholders don't care about gamers, and they don't care about it. And for Microsoft, they don't care about an Xbox division. They really don't. And they want to cut it off. Hopefully with this stunt that Microsoft Division did, don't backfire them and the shareholders take an anonymous, shout and say, hey, I don't care about it. Let's cut it all together, or let's do a cloud-based where we don't got to put no money in R&D to do a physical product. That's what's gonna happen. That's Xbox future inhales. That's what's gonna go on. But here's why Nintendo have the console. It's profitable. The reason they didn't drop it down $250 or whatever. And again, to the haters out there, it ain't no. You know what? If you don't like the gamepad, you don't like the gamepad. The gamepad is a different experience. This is my opinion. I like Nintendo for their controller experience. It gives you something different to do. And I'm gonna do a video about controllers because it's funny. Game Trailers, which is not a Nintendo happy site, they did the top controllers of all time. And if you looked at that video, and I'm gonna do a video about that, all the videos are basically every Nintendo controller that's on the site that Nintendo ever made is on that video. Xbox One, not even the Dreamcast is on there. The Xbox 360 controller and the PlayStation DualShock 2 and 4. That's it. But everyone, because everyone Nintendo caters to their audience, which I wish a lot of other people do. But anyway, so I don't care about the gamepad price. This is part of the experience. That's why you buy the Wii U. Anyway, what Nintendo, as a business person, I do not want to take a 50-50 bet and lose a ton of money because of that stuff. Last year, Nintendo in the second quarter, Nintendo made a profit. You heard the news, you heard the story, everybody's talking about it, and they make a profit. They kind of did and they kind of did not. The true story really is they took an operational loss. They had to pay it. Of course, when you are a shareholder, by law, you have to pay the shareholders and investors off first. So you pay those guys off first, and you pay your employees and your developers and all that stuff. But it still took a loss because they didn't put the money in the bank. They didn't make a super amount of profit to really say it's a win. Did they make a profit to pay everybody? Yes. The next thing a lot of people need to know, and I think a lot of people do know, Nintendo has $11 billion in US in the bank, save up. They lost in 2013 and also in 2012. They lost money with the Wii U and stuff like that. Basically for the Wii U, they lost about $200 million. That's chicken feed to $11 billion, people. So they're not going nowhere no time soon. That's a little bit of money, okay? And I've been on game sites like GameSpot and they corrected it, and I've been on GameSpot, IGN, Polygon. When they put the numbers out there, they never changed. They said they don't put yen behind it to make a difference. They put out, they lost $1 billion or they lose $8 billion yen, which is not a lot of money in US. They need to the exchange rate, and that's why I'm bringing this up. The exchange rate is one of Nintendo's worst competitors, or one of the green eye monster that keeps them back, and that's where it hurts them. If the 50-50 chances, again, going back to the Xbox analogy, is yes, Nintendo has the first party software. Since they don't have to do the license fees and the store fees and all that stuff to a lot of things, they could sell like me. I bought Mario 3D World digital, Zelda digital, Platinum Games digital, blah blah, all those games digital. They make mostly all the profits straight out to them. They could drop it and then use the software to subsidize it. That is the bet. Here's the 50-50 part. If the yen goes up against the American dollar, in other words, rises up, the exchange rate changes and the yen goes up, Nintendo, being a Japanese company, lose a lot more money. That $50 could multiply into $200, $300 because of the exchange rate. That's the problem with why they gotta be careful with dropping their prices until they see it's formidable. Now, they did that with the 3DS, and they had the software to back it up. That's for sure. The one thing that the 3DS had was they didn't have no games. They didn't have no software at all. But 2014, Wii U had, to me, the best software library out there. So they backed it up with games, and when the 2014 came to the end of the year, to do what Xbox did, to me, was not a great decision, because if the exchange rate changes, and it has happened to Nintendo before, when a lot of their losses, well, a lot of game sites again publish it, they talk about the losses But the losses was because of the exchange rate, not because they weren't selling. It was because of the exchange rate. That's what it was. So I hope a lot of people understand that the exchange rate is a big factor in the games like Nintendo and Sony, really. But the difference between Sony has a different. Is such a big conglomerate. It has divisions in America and in Europe that's so different, that's so diversified. As they're not holding, because Nintendo is a gaming console company and do some facts to life and still do toys. Really, in Japan, they still do toys. But the point I'm making is the exchange rate. If the exchange rate changes, and it can, because remember, the yen is going against America, the Chinese money, they're going against a lot of different foreign currencies to fight. Now the US dollar only has the EU and the pound to balance itself out. But then again, the yen has to go to the other to balances out and fight, and it just to make a product. So I applaud Nintendo for making the decision it is. I'm sorry for all the gamers out there who didn't get a Wii U because of that, because they didn't do a price cut. That's kind of sad. I am sorry for that. But as a businessman, they did the right decision. And when they dropped the price for the Wii U, I think is when they dropped the price for the Wii U is when the manufacturer for the console and everything else gets cheaper. They're gonna do that. It's gonna happen. It always does. But that's basically a small explanation on why Nintendo did not drop the price the price on the console. That's why they did not drop the price on the console. I hope, like I said again, if you want to go, if I see people want to elaborate more, I want to talk about this more, I could do a video about it. It's gonna be longer and it's gonna be more boring because it's business. A lot of gamers don't care for business and all that stuff. But as a company, that's what you gotta fight against. You gotta understand it. So from the console side, from the business side, I applaud Nintendo for what they did. That's why they did that. Xbox One, I mean, as a business person, I wouldn't applaud it, because you're taking a hit, and if the shareholders really say, hey, this just we put more money to them and they just suck more money from the big pie. Hey, there's a little piece of ant taking my big piece of taking a little piece of pie from my big pie. I'm gonna squash that ant. That's just what's gonna happen. And basically, the ant is gamers. So again, I hope that don't goes that way for you Xbox fans. I really do. I hope that you guys still have gaming to come in the future. And I think that's all I can say in this video. So right now, as usual, there's no perfect game out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Just simply play your games.